Everybody who's joining us tonight on Zoom, when you are not speaking, if you would mute your device and unmute it when it's time for you to address us at this time. Let me welcome everybody to the City of Fort Valley Zoom Council meeting, October 5th Zoom Council meeting. Um, we have Miss Barbara Armstrong, Minister Barbara Armstrong, from the Liberty Praise Church Incorporated, that's going to do our invocation for us tonight. So, Minister Armstrong, if you would unmute yourself, and we all will bow our heads. Thank you. Minister Armstrong, are you there? Miss Saka, do you have a muted?
I think she will have to unmute herself.
Miss Armstrong? Okay, there you are.
I did.
All right. Good evening.
All right. Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us the strength to endure the hard seasons. Nothing we go through is wasted. Right now, parts of the world are preparing to reopen. We don't know the transition or what it would take or what it would be like. So we ask during this time that you would guard our hearts and our minds, encourage anyone feeling anxious, afraid, or helpless. Continue to heal those who are sick and protect those who are not. Protect and strengthen the brave people serving others on the front line during this pandemic. Give our leaders the wisdom to understand that you have everything in control as they navigate this season. Let your will and truth guide them as they guide us in this world. Unite our people, increase the love, faith, and generosity to those among us. Restore the communities for the glory of your name and to release the people from depression, addiction, and loneliness. Continue to transform us, renew our spirits in your will and your way. Let us love unconditionally. Calm our fears as we trust you. Lord God, continue to do what you know only you can do. And Lord God, we ask that everyone on the line be blessed and to be encouraged in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Minister Armstrong, for for that great appeal to the Father. Now we don't have in front of us a flag. Well, we see one in Mr. Raphael's office, and we don't have to stand to do it, but we can do the pledge of allegiance from here because we are looking at a flag in the right hand corner. And I don't guess we would get fussed at for sitting while we do that pledge. Let's recite the Pledge of Allegiance together, if you would. Everyone, unmute your devices. Unmute your devices. Everyone, unmute your devices. Raphael, Victor, everybody who's on the Zoom, unmute your devices, if you would. All right. Let's recite the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of
Of the
the
United
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 States
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 of
America,
of
America
America,
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
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 liberty and
liberty and
justice for
justice
all.
for
and
all.
justice for all. Thank you. Now, everybody else, while you are muting your devices, I'm noticing I've probably got a bad eye from Mr. Raphael, who is a veteran, and Carla stood, you notice. I think the chief did too, because we are taught to stand when we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. So, and we had not been doing that out of a sense of not disrespecting everybody who's used to doing that. We will be doing that on Zoom from now on, but we can get up from our seats and get it done. Thank you. Thank you so much for tolerating us with that and not spanking our hand, Ms. Carla or Mr. Raphael, and any other veterans that might be on the Zoom. Okay, now we're gonna ask each of us to mute our Zoom right now until we get ready to speak or make a motion, mute our devices.
Mayor Williams,
Yes, sir?
if I may, I don't have an agenda.
Okay, Saka, are you gonna put the agenda up for us? Or did you email those to everybody?
I emailed it, but I can put it up.
Okay, we can put it up. And while we are going to that, we are going to move the item number 4, which is the planning and zoning public hearing. We're gonna move that down to at the end simply because, well, or where, because simply because we advertise it at 5:30 and this meeting starts at 4:30. So we will shift that down and we will keep watch of our time. And as soon as 5:30 is here, we will go on to the hearing, the planning and zoning hearing. And needless to say, the discussion after that, then we will take actions after that. Okay? Is everybody okay with that? Now I need a motion to approve the agenda with that change.
I move we approve the agenda with that change.
Need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Carla and seconded by Bryant. That we done with the one change that we made. All in favor? Let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposers show the same sign. If there are no opposers, then the motion carries. Thank you, Miss Bryant. I saw that Mr. Allen was trying to unmute his device, but you know, when we have these technical things, sometimes we'll have the technical difficulty. That was not about to be dropped because of a like of a second. That was because of a like of the device cooperating. Okay, thank you so much. All right, the next on the agenda then, down below planning and zoning hearing, which is number 5, is the approval of the minutes of last month. And we have all of these into one, and hopefully we can make the motion by consensus approval. I need a motion.
I so move.
Need a second.
I just did.
Okay, second. Okay, second by Bryant. Motion by Gowan and second by Bryant that we approve the minutes. All in favor, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the opposers would show the same sign. There being no opposers, and the motion is carried. I only have a couple of announcements, a few announcements to start with. Before the ones that's written on your agenda, I believe our Trojans are playing away this weekend on tomorrow night. And we also have the another food drive tomorrow from 10 o'clock in the morning, I think, until 12 out at Festival Park. Please let our people know that. With the ones that's on your agenda, the Downtown Development Authority still has the 3 vacancies that we would want to appoint replacements of or reappoint the ones that still want to serve by our November meeting. So if there's anyone who wants to submit their resume and would like to serve, please send that to the attention of our city administrator, R. Maddox, at fortvalleyga.org, or hand deliver it down to City Hall. But please do that before the work session of our next meeting. And they're the same for the planning and zoning. There are 3 vacancies there. And some want to be reappointed and some not. So let's take care of that so that we can take action on that. Our our next meeting. Please do it before the work session of our next meeting. All right. For number 3, same story. We have it open for the replacement of city council at large vacancy. I lost you. Okay. Now we're looking at the agenda. The vacancy for the at large to replace the seat of Mr. Marvin Crafter. We have 3 applications in. We will close that also the Monday before our work session. So anyone else who's still interested will still get it in. We have 2 extended resumes from two applicants, and we have just a few words that was sent to an email from another. I would encourage that person to also send in a real resume, if you would, before that time. That will close out the Monday before our next work session. Do we have anything else that I need to mention in the form of an announcement? Well, I guess I do need to mention that the National Alumni Association is planning a drive-up concert at Festival Park, beginning at 8 o'clock on October the 24th. And they are featuring the Conquest Show Band there. That's at the end of the day that an event is already ongoing by the Masons, which is ongoing the 23rd and the 24th, which is a cookout called Smoking in the Valley, I think, or something of that nature. And so we will have activities going on at Festival Park. I would promote that the ones who've been stuck in the house and are anxious to come out. So CDC guidelines will be practiced. And of course, it will be a drive-up concert. You can sit in your car, or you can take your beach chairs and sit outside, as long as you're sitting a distance from others and you are wearing your mask. Is there anything else that I have forgotten to announce? Council members who may have my back.
Hey, Mayor Williams, I just want to remind everyone the census, last day to complete the census online will be tomorrow by 7 p.m. So I just want to remind everyone that haven't completed it to go ahead and complete it and tell all your family members to complete it.
Thank you so much. Now, that was an emergency notification that came about on phone from Peach County, and I think she said tonight at 7. But it is tomorrow at 7?
Yes, ma'am, on the 16th.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Hopefully everybody has filled it out and gotten it done. Also, early voting has begun, and that goes on until the 30th, from what I'm told. So the lines are real long, but however, it's worth it to make your voice heard. So you might want to take one of your beach chairs with you for that also, so that you won't be made to be uncomfortable during that time. But we want you to cast your ballot so that your vote can be counted. All right. Anything else? All right. Then we will go on. We don't have anyone to address mayor and council this evening until we get down to the public hearing for that from the recommendation from the planning and zoning. So we will defer that until that time. Next, we have on the items to be discussed is the excessive call ordinance, which we have read second, and that should have been taken out of your packet and you should have had a chance to review that already. What shall I hear in regards to that ordinance? Okay, there's somebody talking. If you would mute the phone, please. Okay, what shall I hear in regards to that ordinance?
Mayor Williams, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
If you need a motion, I make a motion that we accept the ordinance as written.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Allen and seconded by Gowen that we adopt this excessive call ordinance. All in favor, let me hear your name called and show your hand because I can't see everybody. All in favor, let it be known by raising your hand or saying aye and giving us your name.
Alonzo Allen, I.
Barnes, aye.
Okay, Williams, aye. Anybody else?
Brown,
Yeah.
yes.
Gowan, aye. Anybody else? All right. That,
Yes.
who said aye?
Councilman Brown.
Said yes.
Okay, Councilman Brown said yes, and Ms. Bryant says yes. Okay, I believe that is unanimous and the motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, the next to be discussed is the MEAG First Amendment to gas supply contract and the supplemental contract, the gas portfolio B project. I think we have discussed that some time back. What shall I hear in regards to that? Or is there anybody here to speak to that? I think I saw Mr. Charles Jones on the line at one point. Are you still there, Charles?
Yes, I am.
Okay, can you good evening. Can you say to the council what this is?
Oh, the MGAG documents.
Yes.
Yeah, those MGAG documents are basically, they are your supplemental contracts, extending the contracts that you have. They provide for a longer period of repayment for debt that the Utility Commission and the city already has with regard to power sales.
Mhm.
And it also I think it reduces the interest rate. I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared to do that.
That's all right, but I think
But-
that,
No, I got it right here.
okay, go ahead.
Mayor Williams,
Uh-huh.
if I'm in order, because I just saw this that item come up, I guess last night. So can we table it until we, have further discussion, or are we coming up on a deadline?
We're coming up on a deadline. They've actually been calling for the documents. It has to be effective. It goes into the effect at the end of this year. I think MGAG has some other administrative things. You're not doing anything other than extending the maturity date to give us a longer period to repay the debt that we already owe. And it also allows for later on, if you want to acquire additional debt, you can, and it could be for 30 years instead of 20 years. So it's not any type of added obligation. It is simply changing the terms so that it's more favorable with regard to paying back the debt you already have.
If I'm right, the Utilities Commission has already voted for this, and they are waiting on the city to
That's
vote.
correct.
Okay, all right. What is your pleasure in regards to it?
Mayor Williams, I still would like to table this document. Since you said the end of the year, I mean, we can do it next month,
Well,
if that's
no,
okay.
you can choose to do that, but what
Right.
you're doing is putting in jeopardy the
Well, not
opportunity for
necessarily
us
in
to do it.
jeopardy. I mean,
It's
you
not
guys,
changing anything. It's not
Mr.
changing
Jones,
any obligation
Mr.
that you
Jones,
already have. And if
Mi-
what you
Mr.
want to do that,
Jones.
you can choose to do that.
Mr. Jones,
I'm going to ask again that the person that's not supposed to be speaking, please mute your device.
thank you.
Because we're getting distortion. That conversation was between Councilman Brown and Attorney Charles Jones, and I think we heard it, but we're getting distortion that way. Please mute your device. All right.
Okay, well, I would like to make a motion that we table this until November for further discussion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right. Motion by Brown and seconded by Bryant that you table it until the next monthly meeting, or if we have to have a call meeting, the next call meeting. All in favor, let it be known by stating your name and the word aye.
Allen, I.
Bryant, aye.
Gowan, no.
Brown, yes.
All right,
Barnes, no.
and Williams, no. So, I think that, let's
Sound
move,
like a tie.
sound like a
It's a
tie?
tie. 3-3.
3-3. And we said we were gonna end up with until we appoint, somebody else.
No, actually, the motion dies if it's a tie. The motion does not pass if it does not get a majority of the votes. So that motion failed.
Mhm.
And the motion was to table it. So
The motion was the
that's
table.
where we are. So
Yeah,
it's still
move
on the
along.
agenda.
Okay, all right,
Mayor Williams,
yes, ma'am.
I would like to make a motion that we have a called meeting as soon as possible.
Well,
Maybe Monday.
if that motion died,
too soon.
you don't need a call meeting. If that motion died, as according to what Mr. Jones said, if it died, it's not tabled. The motion died, so we need to move
Oh.
forward with going ahead and executing the document. That's what I'm understanding.
And I
Okay.
said died, but the technical, to be technically correct, it failed to pass.
It failed to pass. Yes. Okay. So does that mean we need to move forward with executing the document, or we need to have a call meeting and vote again?
I think you still need to, that there needs to be a motion to pass it, because part of that includes a resolution that was prepared for you. So that resolution needs to be adopted. So there still has to be a vote and a motion to adopt it or not adopt that resolution.
Okay, Mr. Jones, I'm going to suggest that you secure from the Utility Commission a document to get to us that we could see, and then we can call a meeting, a Zoom meeting, probably Wednesday of next week. Would that be early enough for y'all?
Right.
Can you get that document to us or email it to Mr. Raphael or to myself, and or Miss Patrick, and we'll send it out to everybody, and we will have a Zoom call meeting specifically for that Wednesday of next week, and we'll put the advertisement out there. Is that okay?
I'll do everything I need to do to cooperate.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, thank you. Moving along, now at the rate that we are going, we are probably going to be in the meeting before the 5:30. So if that's the case, we might have to start that hearing a little bit earlier, but let's go on. I don't have anything for executive session, but we could get reports from departments, and we can start with that and do that. And after that is over, then we'll go on into the hearing, and then take the action after that. Is that okay with everybody? All right. Report from departments. So the first person I'm looking at is Miss Carla up top, and that is Public Safety.
Okay, I cannot find my agenda that Chief Spurgeon sent me, so I would like to ask him to give us an update.
Are you there, Chief? Are you on?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to make a brief statement about the COVID numbers. We went to the task force meeting today, and everybody was saying stuff was stabilizing. I talked to Mr. Raphael. I noticed we've jumped up about 10 here in the last 2 days. Everybody still needs to be cautious and be careful. I'm looking at what's going on in Western Europe right now. England's about to go back on a lockdown. I really think we're not taking the thing serious enough. I just hope that we can get a hold on that. I've been working with the Chief Allen and with the sheriff about these pop up these lockdowns that's going on. I'm supposed to have the task force meeting. As far as the crime stats are concerned, everything's looking pretty good. We did have a little bit of a jump up in burglary, but that's about the norm. The shooting that we had, if you look around the nation, there's been an uptick in violent crime. That's because of anxiety and stuff. Everybody's busy, and people are doing stuff that's a little bit out of norm. On the far side, everything's pretty good. Training is being consistent, and I think I briefed y'all already on we completed our CPR training, and we'll be conducting sexual harassment training for the entire city. I think next week or week after that. That's all I have, Ms. Barbara.
You're muted, Mayor.
Thank you, Chief. I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
And that's all right, but I said that means that anybody in the city can be involved in this sexual harassment training. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am, and I actually encourage everybody to take it. It helps us with our, and correct if I'm wrong, Ms. Patrick, it helps with our insurance stuff as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I want to thank whoever it was that recognized the fact that they didn't have their device muted and they were distorting or disrupting the meeting. And thank you so much for going in that direction. Now, I will say, moving further for the ones who might be aware and just disrupting the meeting deliberately, we will have the meeting monitor to mute you if you would not do it on your own. Please do that. All right. So the next thing is Mr. Allen.
I don't have a report, but Mr. Maddox, you have anything you'd like to add?
No, sir, it's just that we're getting new monitors or new computers so we'll be able to use the credit card machines at the front counter. So one day next week, hopefully by Wednesday, all 3 computers will be able to utilize the credit card machines for all payments up at City Hall.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Allen, through Mr. Maddox. Next would be Mr. Barnes, Finance.
Yes, ma'am. Of course, we just adopted the budget and we're moving forward. I'm real thank you for speaking at Kiwanis today. You did a great job. But I would like to ask Mr. Lorenzo if he wants to add any touches or final thoughts since we have just basically started our new budget. And there's not a whole lot to report on except for particular percentages of where we are in collecting taxes, et cetera. So Mr. Lorenzo, if you want to give us just an update on any percentages and numbers that might be pertinent to this report, go ahead, sir.
As of now, we've just begun collecting property taxes. We have approximately about maybe 50 tax payments in. They're coming in online as well as in the department. I just want to note that we now have the option for our customers to pay their property taxes online. If they go to the website and they go to taxes, they can get that information there. As far as the numbers, I'll have something definite with the amount of online payments that we now receive, as well as credit card payments. I have all that information for our next finance meeting. That's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Mr. Maddox, anything from your end?
No, sir, everything's good to go. All the tax bills have been corrected and they begin resent out, so we're good to go.
Very good. Thank you. That's my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. I do want to share with everybody that the vacation buyback that y'all voted at the end to be included in this budget. I don't know whether they've gotten their checks or not. I know we've signed them already. And so the vacation buyback that we promised our employees, I'm thankful that we were able to get that done this time. We hadn't always been able to do that, but I'm also thankful of employees who give us their time and not trying to count their days off and make sure they take them off. I thank you for that kind of dedication. Thank you. All right, Ms. Bryant, Public Works.
We're finishing up on the College Street and Green Street project. We should have about 2 or 3 more weeks. We've started on the Spruce Street project, Spruce Street Park project. Y'all know my conditions. Spruce Street Pool project. And we should be through with it within a month's time. We started Christmas decoration preps, and we're gonna buy like maybe 2 or 3 new items, and that's all. Jimmy Barnes, let me give you your favorite part. Transfer fees were $5,492. Sanitation fees collected by Fort Valley Utility Department was $85,214.87. Total month collection was $90,807.37.
Very good.
I knew you would like that.
Of course.
And the scale, we were supposed to have it, they were supposed to have it completed, but once they came in and started working on it, they found out we got to order some more parts. So it'll be a little while before the parts come in and they complete that transfer scale.
Thank you. I've been over and seen the scale. I like to see them at work when that's finished.
Me too.
All right, is that all? Now, did I call everybody? Brown,
Yeah.
Mario.
Hey, yes, ma'am. For as Mr. Barnes has said, we've started a new budget year. And you all have heard all the other department chairs talk about their departments. So me and Refia, we've talked about looking at housing some of our personnel around the city until we can actually get a new city hall. We're getting a little tight down there. So we've been discussing that as far as personnel. And I think we're, I don't want to say fully staffed all the way around Refia. I think we may have a couple of positions that we're trying to fill.
Correct. We have about 1 or 2 more. Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think one is maybe interim position. I know are we still looking at the public works director's position? Is that still out for advertisement?
Yes, it is. Correct.
Okay.
Ms. Diane re-advertised that, and we should get some more applications next week, and then we'll move forward on that application.
Very good. Good.
Did you, excuse me, Mr. Raphael, but did y'all advertise through June? Y'all have to excuse me. I'm having dental work done, so it's hard to get out certain words.
I understand.
Excuse me, I'm trying. Did you advertise in the GMA paper?
Yes, ma'am, on the GMA
Newsline.
Marketplace. Yes, GMA Marketplace website.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, is that
And
all?
that's all I have, Mayor. Yes, ma'am, that's it.
Okay, thank you. I do want to share something with you that I didn't do it in reports earlier. I got a call from a hotel developer on yesterday that stated that he's flying out to Utah either toward the end of this week or the first of next week in order to finalize and close the deal on the funding of the hotel project. He has also reached out to a local contractor to now take care of the grass. And so we're glad to hear that. Now, we've heard for some others, but they are not quite that close, and we will share with you a little bit later on. The other thing is we talked to our Kiwanis Club today at lunchtime, and some of the questions that came out, and I'm glad, Ms. Bryant, you mentioned that about the cleanup. And we have one person that's going to always ask what he wants to say. And he asked about the question. He said, our town is trashy. And so I said, well, we've been talking about that. Our public works person that's over public works has been saying the same thing. And our council members and our staff and some volunteers have been working to try to make sure we rid our community of that. We asked for others to come on and join us because the last one that we were supposed to do, we canceled because of Hurricane Delta. So be hearing a little bit more in the future about that. And so that calmed that down a little bit. And so I think, and the other thing I want to share with you, if you have Cox Cable, please watch channel 112 Saturday morning, either at 8 o'clock or Saturday night at 8 o'clock. Ron Wildman did an interview called Spotlight on Mill, Georgia, and he interviewed yours truly. And I can talk about Fort Valley. So that's what happened at that particular time. I don't get Cox, so I would not be able to see it. But he said after it's shown that morning, it would be on YouTube. If you go to Ron Wildman Spotlight on Mill, Georgia, you'll be able to see it. So thank you so much for that. Now, how are we looking with time, Mr. Maddox?
Can I say one more thing, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Our volunteers, we cleaned up 2 areas of Fort Valley, and they still look good. The Vineville area and the Lakeview College Square area, all the way back to the projects.
Very good.
And I ride there and it still looks good. And I would like to thank all of the volunteers that came out to help us. And we will reschedule the other side of town,
Thank you.
in the near future. Like Chewy, maybe next week. And we're asking for volunteers.
Thank you so much. And it also was brought out that they will get started with putting out Christmas decorations. Sometimes starting next week, they're pulling them out already. And that was one of the things that Ron Wildman talked about. He went wild over that because he came down here last year and took pictures. So let's to tell our story that's positive is what I encourage all of us to do. If you have a positive story to tell, let's get it told. Because the negative one's gonna come out there, whether they truth or not. But the positive one that we hold back, we need to continue to tell our story. How we looking with time, Mr. Maddox?
It's about 5:07. We still got about 20 minutes before we start the hearing. And the reason is that we advertised the hearing at 5:30. So if we started early, someone could challenge.
Yeah. So is there anything else that we need to bring before council? Now, the truck stop situation, I guess I could share this information. The Utility Commission had a Zoom session with the new commissioners on yesterday. And I have to say it was a great presentation that they made. There are some things that's going to have to be finished up on. And there are some things that they brought out with the allocation on the truck stop finances. And I'm supposed to get a call back. I've talked to Craig earlier today to see if they could go ahead and get started because they are waiting until USDA send that drawdown. Well, USDA is not going to send the drawdown first. The money on our side has to go first, and they have allocated some $250,000 for that project. So my question and my request is that they go ahead and start and have the contract meeting with the funds that they have allocated so that we can get this started. And I think we're closer than we think. In talking to Mr. Jolly about University Station, he's moving right along with that. He said that his partner and he would like to wait about 6 more weeks until we find out what COVID-19 is going to do. So he's expecting that project will kick off about the 1st of 2021. And so, and also the housing development that was promised at Laconia Circle, same story. Everybody's kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. I need for us to encourage all of the young adults as well as everybody else to come to the Drive Up concert that the Alumni Association is sponsoring, in that they are going to be regarding and observing CDC guidelines because people have stayed in the house so long. I'm hearing from the students, they want to get out. That's why we have so many house parties, because now they still may go to a house party after that's over, but they won't stay long. That space that we have out there is perfect for those kinds of things. And Wyman was talking about that also. We just need to, if you don't stay for 30 minutes, come up and show your face that night. It starts at 8 o'clock. Yes, sir, Mr. Allen.
Have they advertised the ticket price, or is there going to be a price?
I hadn't heard them say what the ticket price is going to be. I probably will be speaking with the president before the week is over, so we can find out for sure. I ain't heard anything about a price.
Okay.
And of course, you heard what we were talking with the health department about vendors and that kind of stuff the other day. You heard that. So I will get an update on that real soon, sir.
Okay.
All right. I can't talk for 20 more minutes, I don't think. What are we looking at, Raphael?
Mayor Williams, I recommend that we put everybody in the waiting room and then we start back again at 5:30.
Okay, if we can put everybody in the waiting room and then start back at 5:30. Now, how do we do the waiting room? This is old school, so what I do?
You just stay where you are and me and Ms. Ryder handle that.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Anybody who wants to stay can be let back in at 5:30. Thank you. And I assume everybody that had planned to attend this hearing is here. I have in front of me, and I'm only 1 minute out. I have in front of me that came from the Planning and Zoning Board, a recommendation for what they did with this planning and zoning request. There was a request, an application for rezoning from Steve Rowland of Rowland Engineering. And it was for a proposed convenience store. The existing zoning classification is R2, and they were asking to rezone it to C2. It's a vacant wooded area, and it's a proposed convenience store going in that area. Now, at that meeting, the minutes showed that you had quite a few residents from over in that area that attended the meeting in opposition for, and I assume Mr. Rowland may have been there to speak, opposition against. And I assume you would have had Mr. Rowland there to speak for at that time. I since that time received a petition with about 200 signatures of residences in that area. We talked about this on Tuesday night. The city appoints all of its boards. It appoints the planning and zoning boards. It appoints the historic board. It appoints the downtown development board, and all of these things. The planning and zoning board has a planning and zoning director that's shared with the county, and he reports to his board. And when they meet, then they make recommendations to the council. The council can sanction that recommendation, or it can go against that recommendation. We have said in times past that when we appoint people to these boards, we need to appoint competent people, objective people, people who don't have a personal agenda, and people who can make a decision and stand up for it. We think that that's what we have done. Now, what I would like to do in order to deal with this issue, and I think I'm right for the hearing, if we have one person that can speak for the person who is in favor of, and one person who can speak for the ones who are against. We do not intend to stay here all night listening to several people say the same thing. So if you could choose a representative from the ones who are against, and then the person that's in favor, if you would do that, and then we will take action after we close this hearing out. Madam City Attorney, are you there? Are you there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay, I think I'm in order when we do that with our hearing. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. The reason why we waited from 4:30 to 5:30 is because it was advertised at 5:30. And then we didn't want to hear anybody say, you know, y'all started early because you didn't want to hear what I had to say and that kind of thing. All right, so we will start with in favor of first, and let's give that person, I'm going to ask that we give the person the respect who is speaking, because if you don't, I'm going to ask the moderator to shut you down. Okay, and I'm not trying to be hard with that. That is just fair. All right. Who is here to speak in favor of this rezoning?
Ma'am, this is Stephen Rowland. I'm the applicant.
Okay. All right. You have permission to speak, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Mayor, council members, my name is Stephen Rowland. I'm with Rowland Engineering. My office is at 318 Corporate Parkway in Macon. I'm here on behalf of MHP JR LLC, who is the owner of the subject tract. MHP JR LLC also owns apartments behind this tract. And at this time, I wanted to give you a little bit of input as to their investment in the community. They've recently renovated 40 apartment units that are in the neighborhood. They have recently purchased another 120 units, and those units, apartments, will be soon be renovated as well. These are being upgraded, new roofs are being put on, and we'll soon be constructing 104 new units in the neighborhood. And as part of this renovation and upgrade to the neighborhood, and to serve the residents, the owner seeks to rezone this parcel, this 1.4 acres, from R2 to C2 for the purpose of constructing a 6,000 square foot convenience store. And may I share my screen so that I can talk about the proposed plan?
Hey, Miss Wright, would you let that happen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone see the plan now?
Yes.
The site would consist of a 6,000 square foot store with fuel cells. We're proposing 4 fuel pumps. That would be 8 fueling positions with an overhead canopy. The adjacent properties to the west and south are also, like I said, are also owned. All these apartments are also owned by the applicant. The area behind the store is wooded. we would leave that area as an undisturbed buffer to the apartments. The site consists of 35 proposed parking spaces in the front and 8 employee parking spaces in the back. We've configured it so that deliveries can be come to the back of the store. Access to the back would be provided. We've shown 2 entrances off Brooks Boulevard. And there is an existing deceleration lane on Highway 96, an existing right turn lane that would be utilized as the entrance onto Brooks Boulevard and into the store. As I mentioned, the store is proposed as 6,000 square feet. Right now, that's broken into 3,600 square feet convenience store and a lease space of approximately 2,400 square feet. Currently, there's no set plan for the lease space. We anticipate it may be something like a carryout, some type of carryout restaurant, but right now there's no plan for that use. The site would connect to existing water and sanitary sewer service on the site and the adjacent rights of way. And I would be happy to answer any questions you may have. If there's anything that I cannot answer, the owner is also online. We may be able to answer anything that I can't answer.
Ms. Carla, unmute yourself.
Yes, can you point out or tell us where the new buildings would be that you're going to build in
Can you see my-
relation to this?
The new buildings would be this complex right here. I believe this is Pine Valley. Can you see my cursor moving? I'm sorry, I
Yes,
can't point. They would be added on to the back. There's a open field, open grassed area farther south in this same complex. We would be connecting to this entrance right here and adding another entrance, Brooks Boulevard. That's where the new apartments would be built.
And the blue spec building, I guess you'd call it. You said it could be a carryout. Is that 4 separate buildings? No, it'd be 3 separate buildings.
Now this is the building right here.
Yeah.
And this
So-
side is
Oh,
this side is set up as the convenience store, and this side would be a lease space.
okay. And the blue thing, when you enlarge it, I see it says overhead canopy.
That's the
Okay.
canopy and the fuel pumps out front right here.
Will it be big enough for 18 wheelers?
I don't anticipate it being big enough for 18 wheelers, no.
Thank you. That was all I had.
Can I
Thank
ask
you.
a question? How far is the senior housing development from where you are placing this? Can you show me where that is on the map? I don't do well with maps.
That's the gated ones a little bit further out, Steve. A little bit east of yours.
Where?
I can only go out so far. I'm not sure exactly where that would be.
He won't go that far out.
Yes, it does. Oops.
How close is it to?
Yes, it does. Mayor Williams, if you look on the far left of his picture,
Okay.
Steve, move your mouse up maybe an inch. Now move it down.
Over here,
Yeah, stop right there.
this
If-
entrance.
Yeah, that's the entrance to,
Right here.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, that's the entrance of 96, because you can see just below his mouse, the gate that goes across the entranceway, right there.
Okay. So that's
That's
where
the
the senior
entrance.
development is.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other questions from anybody from Steve?
Have a question, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Allen?
Yes, sir. Why wasn't it egress and ingress allowed to come off of Highway 96?
There are a lot of obstructions that would have to be dealt with off Highway 96. It's hard to tell right here, but you've got a storm drain pipe that goes under right here. There's a pretty large telephone pole right here with several lines connecting to it. And since you've got the existing turn lane that's already in place, if we were to put a driveway out there DOT would make us space far out as we could, so we would only be able to go, right here, which is where all those utilities are located.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Rowland?
Yes,
From-
ma'am. I had a question, man.
All right.
Mr. Rowland, how you doing? A quick question. What's your do you have an expected amount for your investment right now? Or is that too soon to kind of talk about?
I do not. The owner may be able to answer that question. I'm not sure. You speaking to the investment in the whole neighborhood or the investment right here on this corner?
Well, just on the corner for now. Just on the corner. That 6,000, did you say square foot? New construction. I mean,
I would anticipate
Go ahead.
I would anticipate the building and the site work to be well over $1 million.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rowland.
All right. Anybody else have a question they want to ask Mr. Rowland? If not, then we will turn it over to the ones who would be opposed to the development. Ms. Wright, would you go back to away from the screen and go to the pictures of those that's on the Zoom? Thank you. Who do you have that's speaking for the ones opposed? The ones who are opposed to the development, you may unmute your device. Okay, you may unmute your device, the person who is speaking as opposed to. State your name, where you live, and if you are speaking for the group.
Okay, Mayor Williams,
Yes, ma'am.
am I unmuted? Can you hear?
Okay.
Yes. My name is Nancy Faircloth. I live at 410 Westview Drive, which is directly north of the facility that this guy is wanting to build. We did not prepare a presentation per se today, but I'm just on the wing right now. But our main concern not only is the safety and the traffic, etc., that would bring to our, or lack of safety that would bring to our neighborhood, but this is also a classic example of spot zoning, which we are very much opposed to. And I think any residential area in the city is opposed to. And this is spot zoning, and we're opposed to that. However, we're hoping that the petitions that you have and that our presentation at the Planning and Zoning Committee, and most importantly, their 4-1 vote against approving this application, will speak for our neighborhood group. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. We have heard the pros and we have heard the cons. The cons also came from the Planning and Zoning Board. The Planning and Zoning Board voted to ask mayor and council to deny this request, and that is the board that we appointed. And so I'm going to put that before you, and their reason was, and it was a vote of 4-1, and their reasoning was because of the citizens' opposal to it happening, and those are taxpayers over in that area. The ones who are opposed to it, and I have about 200 signatures on my desk as a result of that. I would like to ask at this point, and this hearing is not for a argument back and forth that happened during the Planning and Zoning meeting. The Planning and Zoning meeting has made their recommendation. I'm going to close out the hearing at this point and then propose to the council your preference in regards to this request.
Mayor Williams. Oh, I'm sorry. I guess my statement would be, I heard Ms. Faircloth's argument, and I've heard Mr. Rowland's stance for it. Honestly, I would rather table it so we can get some, I'm a little more consideration because, you're looking at, and no offense to the homeowners that live over there. I actually live over, in that section and not even a mile from the location. So I would rather we table it for further discussion because this is a project that could, be helpful. As me and you talked yesterday, Mayor Williams, the DOT project is actually on the way, probably the next 2 or 3 years. So I think that 96 spur there is going to be a 4-lane highway within the next couple of years. So, I would say, again, that's just my opinion, but I would ask that if I'm in order, I move that we table it for further consideration.
Okay, how long do you plan to table?
I would say it shouldn't take no more than 30 days, Mayor, to the next meeting, and hopefully that wouldn't hurt the opposers or the people that are against it, so we can do some further research and look at the potential development because we don't want to turn development away from this community. We need it. So, but again, like Ms. Fairclough said, it may be not for that location, but again, I would be in favor of table it so we can have some further discussion about it.
Okay, we've heard from one councilman. Was that a motion, Lamario?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. That may have been the longest motion in history.
Okay, with the motion, I need to have a second.
Okay, I'll second the motion because it will bring some revenue to the city. Also, it will bring some jobs to the city. And I'm sure and hope that Mr. Fairclough will have it secure enough so that the community will not be affected.
Mayor Williams, may I speak?
Wait a minute. We had a motion and we have a second that we table it for 30 days. All right. Is there any discussion? All right, Ms. Allen?
Yes, the sign has been up for over a month. We had a public hearing. We had, like Ms. Fairclough said, over 200 petitioners to say no. To the best of my knowledge, the city of Fort Valley did not receive a single letter for it. I think we've had plenty of time to do this. We followed all the protocols. I just think we need to do it right now.
Okay, all right.
Y'all have all heard it for the last month. This is not a last minute thing.
Any other discussion? Is there any other discussion?
Can I speak up?
Any other discussion from council members?
Can I speak?
No, sir, it's not your turn. Any other discussion from council members? All right, then I call for the vote. All of those who are in favor of tabling this matter for 30 days, let me see, show, or let me, give me your name and speak out. All right? All of them in favor of tabling.
Alan, no.
Alan, no. Next person?
Yes.
Wait a minute, I think Alonzo.
He said no. He's in favor of not tabling.
Okay.
Not tabling it.
He's
I don't want to table
not
it.
tabling.
Thank you.
All right. Next one.
Gowan, no.
Gowan, no, not tabling.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Jimmy, Jimmy, you're muted.
Wait a minute, Miss Bryant. Jimmy?
Barnes, no.
Barnes, no. All right, Miss
Brown,
Bryant. Miss Bryant?
I think she voted already. Yeah, Brown, yes, Mayor.
Bryant is yes. All right. Next person?
Brown was yes, Mayor.
Brown is yes. Bryant is yes. And Williams is no.
So the motion to table has failed, so we need another motion.
Another motion.
Mayor Williams,
Yes, sir.
if I'm in order, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the planning and zoning's recommendation of declining this zoning matter.
I second.
All right. Motion by Allen and seconded by Gowan that we accept the recommendation of the planning and zoning board that we appointed and accept this recommendation. All in favor? Is there any more? discussion?
Question,
Yes,
just
ma'am.
question. Was the signatures all verified and the location all verified on
They
the,
were. They were. Yes, ma'am. Okay, any other discussion? All right, I call for the vote. All in favor of accepting the planning and zoning recommendation, call your name and say aye.
Allen, I.
Gowan, aye.
Barnes, aye.
Ms. Bryant?
no,
No. All right, Mr. Brown?
No, Mayor.
And the mayor says aye. So that's 4-2,
Two. Yeah.
4-2, and the motion carries.
Mayor Williams, may I speak?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I really hope that you'll just look at some property further west
East.
and can, all right, toward the high school, Curtin High School.
There you go.
Yeah,
And still stay in Fort Valley. We really want
Right.
it. We just don't want it inside the neighborhood.
right.
Thank you, Ms. Carla, for stating that.
I'll buy my gas there when you open.
When I
too.
when I read the recommendation from planning and zoning and the things that they mentioned number one, the already store right there, real close, right within walking distance.
Mhm.
The thing about the citizens and all of that kind of stuff. Now, when GDOT goes to the point where we're in, they're gonna widen that road and we're gonna have more traffic going through there, that kind of thing, all the way back down toward 5 Points is really gonna be a commercial strip.
It is.
It's not
Yeah.
there yet. And so I would, along with Ms. Gowan, I would make a plea to you to consider doing things still in the future in Fort Valley. All right. Is there anything else we need to discuss before this meeting? If not, I declare this meeting adjourned. Thank you so much for your presence.
Adios.